Hello, Ibi,
Hi, Costa.
and welcome everyone back. This is our second video as a recording into the works of the Gene Keys, wonderful teaching about how we can explore our own nature and how we can shift and operate from a high level of consciousness in quality rather than in quantity or in lack in some way or from a lower frequency. So, thank you all for being here. And Ibi as well. Lovely to see your shining presence here today. And we thought, as we always do with this work, is just to play spontaneously and just to choose a key at this stage. Maybe we'll shift our themes, but what has come up for me in this past couple of days is on the Gene Key 46, which goes from the shadow of seriousness to the city of ecstasy, and it's the gift of delight. A beautiful and light-hearted way of how you can explore yourself into the world, but also to help relieve pressure, and also to see how you can also use this into your work, into the labyrinth of this work, to not really take it so heavy loaded, but rather just to tread lightly, but do not take it lightly. That's the great paradox of this. So, Ibi, if you want to take it away, if you got anything that you want to share from this key, or um, yeah, feel free. I'm happy to listen to you.
Hi, Costa. Hello, everyone. It's really a delight to be with you all and to just play and explore these archetypes. And I was smiling when I heard what came up for our session today, and it feels very, very timely because this jinky, and especially the shadow of seriousness, it's so present in our world today. And for me, this um, this key, the 46, brings alive and brings the core message, the core of the Jinkies teachings, which is the embodiment of the higher frequencies. And it's it's holding, in a way, this secret of our purpose is to bring those higher frequencies in the body and ground them and anchor them in the world through our lived experience of light inside the body. So, with our busy world, it's easy to forget about what we feel. And yes, it's um, it's such good reminder that this key is coming from the ring of matter, is part of the codon ring of matter, and together with the other keys that are governing um, our development, the development of the physical body, the emotional body, and the mental body, together with the 9 months of pregnancy, the core wound, it it governs in a way the formula and the secret of how we are here to embody love and what is the texture and the quality of our love that's radiating and emanating through the physical body.
Yeah, thank you, Ibi. Um, and also then it helps you realize from when I read the Gene Keys 46, that it doesn't really matter your circumstances um, around you externally. Once you learn to accept it, then you see that it's all part of grace that's unfolding, and that is what you're sharing, which is about love in matter, and it can also be something that's out of matter, um, because it's discussing also the what it means to be lucky in life. And to be lucky is to be able to accept at a deeper level what is happening without being a victim of that. If you're being a victim of it, that's why you become serious, because you're not seeing the layer beneath the veil of the Maya. And so you take everything in matter to be serious, when in actual fact it's always moving, it's always flowing, it's always changing. And the idea is if you can root yourself in your core stability and knowing that everything else is impermanent, as it is in Buddhist philosophy, for example, um, then you know it's okay. It's just a passing moment. And then you start to see that what is alive is what's beneath that. And what's beneath that is what's going to help you gravitate to where you need to go or not go, in fact. Um, and so, yeah, the path of luck can also be seen, in my view, as um, being able to contemplate and being able to pause and being able to reflect and not to be distracted, um, and not to be pulled away where it doesn't feel alive. And this also goes back to what we shared in our previous video, um, especially on the word of freshness. It comes about from what is alive. And what is alive is something that you can then graft, is something that you can then let go of, like the weeds that you pull away from a garden bed. And then you start to just cultivate the flower or the seed so it can grow and it can flourish. And then it can then become the plant or the fruit that you can then pick, and then you can share that with other people. So that for me is what's alive, because if you don't, then you become dead and you're not going to be moving through anything. And and especially during this time as well, most people, because we're so caught up in the material realm, we tend to forget the essential, and which is to look within ourselves. And if we look at what is that can be seen as a garden bed, I'd like to read you guys something which comes from a beautiful teacher that I had the luck of being able to visit in Cambodia. It's a yoga meditation retreat, and this name is Joel Altman. He did these little talks, and in the talks he just explained from what was coming out from him, and I saw it as a bit of a transmission. So I'd just like to read some parts of that, um, which is about the garden, and it's called Back to the Garden. And so it says, I'm reminded of a nursery rhyme that goes like this: Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? And so I ask you, how does your garden grow? What have you been planting in your garden? Have you been taking care of the garden of your heart, the garden of your mind, the garden of your body? Have you even realized that you have a garden, or have you left it unattended and overgrown with weeds? It is our responsibility to take care of our own garden. No one can do it for us, not mummy or daddy, not the president or prime minister, not the psychologists or the psychiatrists, lovers, friends, or computers. Nobody can take care of your garden but yourself. You must look after your own garden. This means that you have to clean up. Pull up the weeds all the way from the roots. Take care of the soil, adding good things like compost and mulch. Plant seeds of beautiful flowers, fruits, and vegetables, the seeds of love, compassion, and patience. If we keep on planting the same unconscious seeds and weeds of jealousy, anger, and greed, then why should we expect anything better in lives or in our life? Our gardens will be full of the same disappointments, anger, and jealousy. If we haven't taken care of our garden, how will the flowers grow? Maybe every now and then one or two appear, but why not plant rows and rows of flowers? Why not fill your garden with different colors and fragrances? Why not plant flowers to attract the bees and butterflies? We look after our gardens every day. Remember, we have several gardens: the garden of the heart, the garden of the mind, and the garden of the body temple. It is not enough to take care of just one of them and leave the others abandoned and barren. This is the first stage of yoga. Take responsibility for yourself. No one can do it for you, not your guru or your teacher, not your lawyer or your doctor. This lesson is called personal responsibility. If you don't sweep up, pick up the dead leaves and branches, clear the paths, prepare the soil, remove the weeds, then what do you expect from life? How will the seeds of love, compassion, joy, and beauty possibly grow with all that mess? I encourage you to spend some time in your garden every day. It is not so far away. You don't have far to commute. There are no excuses for not visiting your garden every day. You do not have to do all the work at once. You can start little by little. Today, deal with some of the weeds and water a little bit. Tomorrow, prepare the seeds and the soil. The next day, remove some dead leaves and water again. In this way, each and every day, you can spend just a little bit of your time looking after your gardens. Make them beautiful, colorful, alive, and welcoming. Then all the animals, the humans, the gods and goddesses will want to come and visit your garden. But if you ignore your gardens, then why would anyone want to come and visit? They will go to another garden, another flower. Gardening is such an important part of our lives. It is the nourishment of the soul. We have all been given a patch of land that we call me, myself, and I. I encourage you to cultivate your gardens lovingly and gently. Don't wait too long. The longer you wait, the more difficult it will be. The best time is always right now, because there is no other time. Meditation is a form of love, self-love, which means love for the whole universe, love for everything. Meditation is incredibly nourishing. When we have a beautiful garden, how wonderful it is to simply sit and rest in our garden. When we do our daily sadhana, our daily practice, we prepare the fields, the beds, and take care of the plants. Then we can sit back and enjoy life as it is. Nothing to change, nothing to fix. Life as it is, relax and enjoy. And so that I feel is like the epitome of this gene key in the way is just to go into the delight of things and realize them as they are. It doesn't mean that we don't do anything, but if you can allow yourself to be into that realm of into the body and knowing that everything is alive, everything is moving, everything is changing, everything is transforming, then we can experience the beauty of that through the power of the pause. And so when you get to this place of ecstasy, it's also the place of where we start to, what comes out from this cultivation of any fear or challenge that you may have, whether it's sadness, loss, anger, frustration, and you cultivate that into the pause of that thing that's alive in you. And that could also just be the space to be. And then what comes out of that is something new. Maybe a feeling can be subtle. Maybe it can be from having done something that puts your mind at ease, from something you've been compulsively thinking about. And and that's what comes out of that, the ecstasy, the love. And then people will feel that in your aura. And because of that, in the aura that you feel, because of something that is deep within inside you, that is alive, um, that sort of delight, it will spark other people to come forth. And maybe out of, well, we don't know, but something will encourage them to be seeing you in a way that will help them see themselves in a better light. So this is all just to say, not to be discouraged by what we see around us if everything is being serious, but to know that we can make changes in our lives here and now by resting in that delight. And I know in the story they give in the Gene Key 46 is about somebody who's been training so much as an athlete to go to the Olympics, trains very hard for like 4 years, and within those 4 years, he ends up getting injured, has to go to hospital, meets a nurse, and in that process, they end up falling in love, and then they get happily married, forever, ever after. And it's just funny to see that we can't really control what's around us, but we can just trust in the process of where life takes us, and it will offer us the magic. It will offer us the flow and light to where we need to be. Um, so yeah, no matter what you do, um, just be open to what life is giving you and what you're receiving in the process, and then yeah, your things will change for the better. And we can always do something. Even here right now, we can always do something. We can just breathe an extra breath or breathe more deeply one extra breath. Um, and that for me is something that can be delightful in that sense that we can say, okay, I feel maybe hollow, but I can bring more depth to that hollowness within my body. And that gives me a sense of lightness. There's um, there's a meditation that's also explained in the Gene Keys, generally from any program that anyone uses. I like it very much. I've seen it happen in another format, which is really about you going into the places where there is discomfort in the body, and you make that alive. So if you feel constricted, like right now, I feel a bit constricted in my chest. So I know by giving myself space in my chest and feeling what is there, um, it's allowing that to breathe and to open up. And in that process, um, you soften and you yield, and then that comes alive. Um, so, yeah, giving that time for that is a way of helping you cultivate and grow the seeds to something that other people will want to be partake in rather than you being apart from. So, yeah, that's my that's what I feel from this Jinky.
Thank you, Costa, for sharing that. And it's such a beautiful metaphor with the garden. And actually, I got the chance to really leave that metaphor with my own garden. When I moved here, I liked very much the place because it was such a subtle combination between wildness, not linear garden like you see, very straight lines. It was flowy and beautiful, but then I I don't have so much patience with my six lines to work step by step and to take care, as you said, day by day, a little bit. The sixth line usually wants to see the highest at once. It's just, I know it can be this way, this high frequency, but it's the impatience to get to work and to be committed and determined to do every day something. And this year, because I didn't have my mom's help anymore, I really took it slowly and started with the weeds. And I got the chance to observe them, to see how they are growing, where they are invading, where they help the soil. I left all the dandelions because of the bees, and I didn't cut the grass yet, as they don't have too many flowers until May. So that's their food right now. And I found this joy and the small satisfaction of doing these beats every day, really feeding my body and really giving, uplifting me in a way. And it's interesting that you said about the breath as well. And just take a moment when you feel that constriction, because the programming partner of the 46 is Jinky 25. So it starts with that constriction in the body. And it's interesting that all these hexagrams are holding formulas and secrets and sequences. And contemplation is bringing them alive in your life. So, what I noticed with Jinky 46, which is earth over thunder, and earth over wind. Sorry. And when you reverse those two elements and you get wind over earth, you get Jinky 20.
Mm.
So through presence and through bringing back the awareness into this present moment and being open, um, and bring acceptance into this moment is how you unlock that constriction. Because what I observed and how he's speaking this key to me, um, we get into constriction and automatically into seriousness when we want things to be in a different way that they are. So we don't approach the moment and the place where we are with acceptance. And then we start projecting outside our own um, lack of acceptance and intolerance and blame the world, blame the others. And from this place of expecting to be different than it is, we lock the possibilities of the moment. We are not discovering, because this key forms in human design with Jinky 29, which is bringing devotion and commitment, is making a channel called the channel of discovery. So through our body, we are meant to discover in every moment what it is, what is bringing to us, and especially to discover the love that is possible to be embodied in our body. And your story and your sharing reminded me of my childhood. Because this key is governing the first 7 years in the Venus sequence, which is all about love and how we open our hearts and bring our love in the world. And in the first seven, I have the Jinky 1 with line 5 in my SQ. So it's about role models and mentoring and role modeling beauty, let's say. And I didn't have role models in my first 7 years, or at least it was I was against what I was seeing in my parents' lives. So I started feeling this deep anger about why I was born in this family where there is no harmony and there are not conditions. And this was my let's say not mental field, but during the whole 3 cycles of the 20 until 21, I remember myself thinking, if I would have been born in a different family, having access to knowledge, having a big library, um, being able to go to more important school or university, my life would be so better, and I would have so much fortune. So I considered myself not being lucky. And I blamed my parents and I blamed the universe with my fifth line. You are always talking with the universe with the fifth lines. Um, so I remember that anger that was there and not accepting the conditions. And it's interesting, the Jinki 46 in the I Ching is all about bringing new life from with a joyous sprout coming from a constricted seed in the darkness. So even if we feel and perceive our conditions and our the way we were imprinted, and we go through the first cycle or the first 3 cycles of 7 years, we all have the same chances in consciousness. The specific conditions we are born in and the karma of our life is coming from many lifetimes, is coming from a longer journey, which we cannot see in this embodiment, in this incarnation. We cannot see all the threads and all the cause effect parts that are shaping our lives and the conditions of our lives. And if we would see how each thought, each response, each word is shaping our future life or our karma, even in this life, we would be very different, behaving very differently. And this key is having so much to do with the behavior. It's in the G center, and it's having the programming partner also, the Jinky 25, and on the other side, the 10 and the 15, which all are gates of roles of behavior. And so coming back to my first 7 years, I was just dreaming of escaping, just going away, growing up and go away and do something different or opposed. So I was denying, and I was ashamed actually with my roots and with my blood. The physiology of Jinky 46 is blood. So you take this, you inherit, and you are imprinted with a certain story of how your life will unfold. But actually, you are here to discover that behind that story, behind those obstacles, behind those constriction, there is this beautiful sprout, this beautiful chance and fortune to go beyond just the material world, just the matter, and discover the quality of your heart, the quality of love. And also it's related to the way we interact, the relationships. We come together and we forget that every meeting is sacred, and we meet spirit to spirit or genius to genius. But we are so absorbed and triggered by what is happening in a relationship, or by a word or something that the other external is saying or behaving, that we forget to remain anchored in what we feel, in how what it brings to us inside, to our inner world, in which way what is reflected outside through the other is revealing something from ourselves. So I will stop here because I really would like to hear also your reflections. I could go on and on.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I just want to bring it back to the point of how we bring ourselves into a victim state. And when it comes to delight or any of the gene keys, they are alive. So the word alive really speaks to me because it's everything is alive, and we need to be aware of that, to be reminded of that sometimes because we forget, even if we understand this as a concept. Maybe you can listen from beneath the words of the energy that's been spoken here and now, that um, you look at it from the perspective of, well, it comes through from your body, your mind, and your spirit, or another way of looking at it is your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. And generally, we have probably done it in the reverse. So we have stories that's created in our mind, like you shared about the different cycles from childhood, how you grow up, and then we think, oh, these are our circumstances, we're a victim of it because we become a product of it. But a way out of that, to make sure and to be reminded of what's alive, is you change your thought. Neil Donald Walsh, the author of Conversations with God, spoke about this being like a sponsored thought, and seeing everything as a thought is creative. Your speech is creative. Your actions are creative. So you are not a victim. You are a creator, and if whatever line that you are in the gene keys, you can make something of it to bring it back into something that's fresh and alive, and in a way that speaks of delight, speaks of light, speaks of energy. And the more I think of this and contemplate this, it's all going to do back from giving and receiving, but with intent or with awareness, not unconscious, but conscious. So if you want to make changes in your life based off your circumstances, like you said, if it's the blood or it's the culture or the way you grow up, you can do the reverse, in fact. So instead of the actions that are said or the words that are spoken or the thoughts that are thought of, you start with the thought and say, I will do the reverse of what my action is doing. So let's say it's money. You say, oh, poor me, I don't have a good household where they're all in a victim state and they want to save their money or they want to hide it or there's a taboo around it. And so if you're thinking of a place of lack, then you go out to someone who really needs the money, or you're seeing like a homeless person on the street and you feel they need something, then immediately you give the money that is needed. So you start with the action first, and the action then will then shift to your speech, and then it will shift to your thoughts. So it's something that you can redo over and over again. But if you're doing it that way, you're bringing something that's not alive into aliveness by shifting it and transforming it, and that's why you get the ecstasy, because you're you're so happy to see. Hey, maybe the result's not there, but you feel better, and it's being felt because the lack, what was before, is now being turned into a becoming of where you want to be, and it's all included in one, like a Venn diagram. It's all there. It's all contained. It's already there. It's already happened, and you're just being reminded of that by just sharing your giving and your receiving in the process as one, and that's why it's delightful because you don't need to do anything. You just need to be, and if you're being, then you know what the right thing is to do. But in the beginning, you may need to use a rational framework of mind to just remind you of that. And then it becomes like second nature. You're just like giving to everybody. It's like, yeah, I'm already overflowing with everything. I am the love. I am the heart. I am everyone. Like you're saying, the mirroring effect. So then it becomes alive. You're not trying to escape it. I'm like, no, I'll take responsibility. What changes can I make and bring this love and bring this light and bring this heaven back to earth? And then it's like, yeah, now I do have an Eden and a garden of heaven that I'm bringing back to earth. And everyone can come and share in it, and you can explore it, you can mess it up. It's okay, I'll come back and I'll just plant more seeds. There's that great book. What's that author? I forgot his name. Anyway, the author wrote it's like a story about some guy in south of France who just plants seeds the whole time, and then they're just trees growing everywhere. And apparently that came into life, literally became alive. I think someone actually won the Nobel Prize for that in Africa, because she took that story as something that's alive and made it into reality. So the power of what we could do based off our stories that are positive and that can make benefit and change and impact has all to do with just the fact that our actions are creative. So do the things, and you can also be at the same time and realize everything is perfect, everything is fine, and we can make changes. We're never a victim of our circumstances. So this is what I just want to wrap up is this feeling of aliveness that I feel it's in delight. It takes in the seriousness and it brings it in something into new, and therefore that's why you become ecstatic. It's like, oh yeah, I can do something. Oh no, I don't have to do anything. I can just be, and you feel it. You feel you will feel different if you allow yourself to pause, or you will feel different if you start to do something that's different to what you did before, and then you can look back and just contemplate: do I feel any different? It may be subtle, but you may not feel so numb or static. Because that feeling has been given it some fuel, and that fuel is you're using the shadow for your growth, and we need the growth. The growth is what's going to help us evolve. Otherwise, why are we here on this plane? So, yeah, we remain delighted in that sense. That's what I feel.
Mm.
Um, Ibi, I'm aware we want to keep this short, just
Yes,
so it's
maybe
not like
we can have just a few minutes more. I think we are under the 30 minutes. I just wanted to add something to what you just shared about the seriousness in the spiritual word, or as spirituality grew so much and spread it in the last decades, let's say. And I can see, and Richard says as well, there is so much seriousness in the spiritual world. And it comes often because of this split and because of denying the money and because of this dissociation with the money. And also this lack consciousness, this poverty consciousness. I am spiritual, and I dissociate uh, um, of the material plane, and through that from my own body. And what I wanted to say is that this in this key, luck is um, a secondary effect, or it's coming when you are taking and making the effort. You are committed to do the little things right every day and to be in integrity with yourself. And that means not to do, I don't know, big things, but be aware not to do things from half-heartedness. If you don't have the inner resources to give fully or to do something with your whole heart because you are doing for yourself, for your own delight, for your own satisfaction, um, it's better not to do it. Do something instead for yourself. If you feel it's it's something you don't have resources for others, do something first for yourself. But it's the luck is built up through your efforts and through your presence in every little thing. And like in the Pearl sequence, the when you move from the vocation to culture through this a pathway of initiative, you are stirring the forces of good fortune by reaching out, by doing something, by starting with something that is alive in yourself. And this is what we started to do. We started just to show up because that was present, that was alive, and it's bringing us joy, and it's not expecting something in return. And this is another secret of this key. When there is half-heartedness, there is something little, a little place in your awareness, in your attention, that goes to another possibility. So you are not fully committed to what you started, and then your energy leaks, and leaks from the wagon of prosperity, from Jinky 14. It's a compromise. It's something you left like a possibility to escape the commitment. And then through that possibility, when something is going wrong, or you have a few obstacles or some challenges, be it in whatever you are doing, relationship, a project, then you immediately you are tempted to run away through that little door and to start another thing, hoping, like with the remote control, that the next program will be better, or the next movie or channel will be more extraordinary. And by realizing that you are creating your luck, you are creating your good fortune through the alignment with your truth, with the integrity inside, and through being present. And this key being governing the development of the physical body, when in the first 7 years, when the child doesn't have yet the emotional body, the emotional intelligence and awareness, and doesn't have the mental body developed. So whatever happened in the first 7 years is stored in the body as sensations. And when we are adults and that story is coming back as a pattern in our lives, we cannot remember the story. We cannot remember the source because we didn't have the whole memory developed. But it's coming back as a place where the pain appears in our body, or the tightness or the constriction. And what we can do is to accept it and to assist the body by becoming present and becoming compassionate with your own feeling and what's happening in the body, accepting that pain and not wanting to be different, not wanting to escape how the body feels, but receive it and transform it. And then that heaviness, which is actually the gift that is hidden in the shadow, it transforms that concentrated energy in the shadow that is opening. It's becoming light, and then you can enjoy everything, and it's very tactile. It's related to the senses, and especially to the touch. And you can discover the material world through the touch, through the textures, through allowing to feel and to get to know, to discover the world through your own delight. And delight for me is that moment when the heaviness and the gravity and the seriousness is uplifted, is taken from your shoulders. And that's when the body is purified, the blood is purified by the heaviness of the victim states and the victim consciousness. And you can experience the higher frequencies in the body of ecstasy, which is in our throat, is the fifth seal, right? Ecstasy is when is this portal of meeting the the forces of involution and the higher frequencies that are coming in the body, because ecstasy is being able to experience everything with equanimity. It doesn't matter, even pain can be experienced as ecstasy. And it's when we merge and we can, yes, we can merge with the experience and fully live it without judging it, without putting it in a box. And yes, through this acceptance. So yes, I have also a little example that just came into my mind. There is athlete in Romania who had the same story what you shared. He was preparing for the championship, world championship for skating. And right before, a few months or a month before the final, he had an accident, a car accident with going with his father. So he was not driving, he was just a victim of the accident. And he injured one of his legs. And it took him 8 years. And of course, after the first stage of blaming and why this happened to me, he found the resources to rebuild his leg with the bionic legs that are available now. And he started preparing for the Paralympics. And he became a world champion in 8 years. But it took enormous commitment. And I had the chance to get to know him personally. And what he was saying, he said, it was this fire, it was this dream in my heart that didn't let me give up. It helped me transform my weakness and what happened into a chance to be even more victorious. And he became a role model for generations of children. And he is the living proof that this can happen and it's possible. And it's beautiful. When I watch the video with his final tour, it was in London at the Olympics. It's just communicating. It's something that speaks directly to the body. It's not his person. It's not his circumstances. Is not his story. Is in a way the triumph of of each human being that can embody this delight, because he followed the dream, he followed that spark inside, what brought him joy, what brought him yes, delight. So yes, I
Nice.
feel it's very rich archetype, and so close to each of us, because it's in the body, it's in the delight and ecstasy of and that's also the limitation. We cannot feel and live our highest potential, is limited by how much we can unlock through our body, because we are experiencing life in the body. And when we forget about our body and we want or we project these expectations onto the money or whatever outside us, the body will arrive in a place where you will have to make a choice
Mm.
to return to your body or just leave. And yes,
Great. Maybe I'm just wary of time.
yes. I think we should keep it as much as possible close to 30 minutes. I think we are at 40 minutes or so.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you, Costa. See you next time.